up on News OSU. Oklahoma school children are facing a teacher shortage. Hear from officials at OSU's College of Education. Plus, Stillwater's library is celebrating a milestone. And nasty weather sweeps across the plains. That and more is coming up on News OSU. Happy Tuesday, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News OSU. I'm Lauren Suarez. Public schools are full of kids, but they're having a hard time getting the teachers necessary to operate the school. Katie Leard investigates the root of this problem and how the university is trying to ease the burden.
Across the country, hundreds of thousands of classrooms are without teachers this year. An analysis by the U.S. Government Accountability Office reported over 200,000 fewer teachers in 2021 than in 2019. And that number is only increasing. The same analysis reported that the shortages are most acute in western states, both rural and urban communities and high poverty areas. Director of Accreditation and Certification for the Oklahoma State University Office of Education, Dr. Tony Ivey, says that this teacher shortage is a more complicated issue than just hiring more teachers.
Really complicated and multifaceted problem. How are teachers recruited into the classroom, getting them into the classroom and keeping them in the classroom.
The Institute of Education Sciences estimates that at least half of all public schools in the United States have 3 teacher vacancies due to factors like lack of candidates, lack of salary, and benefit concerns.
National teacher shortage, it's very impactful across the board. It's a trickle effect, right? If we don't have quality teachers in the classroom, then our students aren't getting the type of education that they need and deserve.
Director of OK Thrive at Oklahoma State University, John Weaver, says that this problem isn't one that's easily solved.
In one sense, it doesn't matter how many people you can recruit into the profession if you're losing just as many. And so we're not going to out-recruit this problem. That's certainly efforts we need to do. We need to find ways to pay teachers more. We need to find ways to make the teaching profession more attractive. We need to draw people that are interested and love teaching, but we also need to support them in the profession, keep them.
Weaver says that nationwide, schools are losing about 30% of their teachers within the first 3 years of teaching, as well as another 50% within their first 5 years. The negative perception of the profession, along with the lack of support and burnout, have also aggravated the recruitment and retention problem. For News OSU, I'm Katie Leard.
Thank you, Katie. After school, Stillwater's kids may make their way to the public library. Public libraries date back as far as the 1600s, and Stillwater's library is celebrating its 100th year of existence.
We're doing the same thing that the first librarians were doing back in 1923, and that is finding and helping people access the right, credible information for what their needs are. Every library, just a whole cache of treasures that are really important to a community. It's just a good place to be and hang out with people who love reading and love books, and it's a great welcoming place to be. Mm-hmm.
You can visit the library's website. Just log on to library.stillwater.org. Staying here in Oklahoma, severe weather hit the state last night with tornadoes ripping through the OKC metro area. Officials from the city of Norman say at least 12 people suffered weather-related injuries. This was part of a larger weather system that hit the central U.S. On Sunday, Brody Myers was in El Paso, Texas, where extremely high winds caused a dust storm to sweep across the town. You can see these pictures here, before and after the wind started to pick up. Skies were blue and temperatures were warm during the mid-morning hours. By the late afternoon, temps dropped into the 40s. The weather forecast is looking more friendly here in Stillwater. Today, highs will reach the upper 70s with sunny skies. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with highs in the mid-60s. Thunderstorms could roll through the area midweek, but skies will clear with brisk temps and sunny skies this weekend. Nationally, newspapers are dropping the Dilbert comic strip its creator Scott Adams called Black Americans a hate group and advised white people to stay away from them. Here's Polo Sandoval.
If nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, that's a hate group.
That was the comment that may have ended Scott Adams' newspaper career. The Dilbert creator referencing a poll from the conservative firm Rasmussen Reports that indicated 53% of black Americans agree with the statement, "It's okay to be white," leaving the other 47% to say they disagree or aren't sure. The Anti-Defamation League has noted that phrase has a long history in the white supremacist movement.
The best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people.
He continued to double down throughout his show. The Washington Post, Los Angeles Times, and USA Today among the hundreds of newspapers that denounced Adams and quickly pulled Dilbert. USA Today newspaper CEO Mike Reed.
It was frankly an easy decision. We found the remarks, hateful, hurtful, and they just crossed the line.
But not everyone agrees. Twitter CEO Elon Musk coming to Adams' defense, tweeting, "The media is racist." Adams has since tweeted that he was only advising people to avoid hate and suggested that the cancellation of his cartoon signals that free speech in America is under assault.
We believe in free speech. We believe in creating a place for differing points of view, but there's a line that gets crossed where things become racism, and that's not an area we choose to traffic in or participate in.
Andrews McMeel Syndication, the company that distributes Dilbert, has not responded to a request for comment.
Oklahoma State's men's basketball team went from a 5-game winning streak to a 5-game losing streak. We have the Cowboys losing to Kansas 76-87, TCU 75-100, West Virginia 67-85, Kansas State 68-73. Last night, OSU fell short to Baylor in their home finale 74-68. Although OSU didn't get the win, OSU student Trenton Cox made a half-court jump shot to win $900. That will definitely be a moment Trenton will never forget. OSU's women's basketball team saw its 6-game winning streak come to an end with a 66-57 loss against Kansas in Lawrence. With the loss, OSU dipped to 20-8 overall and 10-6 in league play. Oklahoma State's women's track and field earned its first Big 12 track and field title in the program history this past Saturday. The Cowgirls finished the weekend with a program best 146 points and were highlighted by 4 individual titles. The Cowgirls entered Saturday with a 20.5-point lead and rode it to the end, ultimately defeating a field that included number 1 Texas by 9.5 points overall. Oklahoma State's softball team was in the Troy Cox Classic this weekend. The Cowgirls came out and won all their games against New Mexico 12-1, Nebraska 3-1, CSU Bakersfield 11-0, New Mexico State 13-0, and UTEP 10-6. The OSU Tulsa Invitational will happen in Stillwater this weekend for softball. Oklahoma State baseball had their first 3-game series here in O'Brate Stadium this past weekend against Loyola Marymount. The Cowboys went 2-1 in the series, taking home the overall win for the weekend. Coming up this week for OSU Sports, we have Cowboy baseball at Missouri State, March 1st women's basketball at West Virginia, March 3rd OSU baseball versus Austin P, March 4th women's basketball versus Oklahoma, men's basketball at Texas Tech, Cowboys wrestling at the Big 12 Championship in Tulsa. That is all the sports we have for you today. With News OSU, I'm Melissa Sanchez.
That's all the news we have for you today. We'll hope to see you next time on News OSU. Have a great rest of your week.